We're still talking about the United States, and let's talk about what is happening in Michigan.
Absolutely. From international, let's get into domestic politics and domestic battles that are playing out. The race for Michigan state is now shaking up Democratic politics across the United States. Progressive outsider Abdul El-Sayed has defeated the party establishment's preferred candidate in a critical Senate primary. And this development, remember, has triggered a fresh debate over whether the Democrats should embrace a new left-wing coalition ahead of the 2028 presidential race or keep fighting it.
Now, for years, Democratic centrists have argued that candidates like Zoran Mamdani are isolated urban phenomena. But Michigan may have changed that calculation. Abdul El-Sayed, the son of Egyptian immigrants and a prominent progressive voice, has won the Democratic nomination for the U.S. Senate in one of America's most important swing states. And he did it despite being dramatically outspent. His opponent, Representative Haley Stevens, benefited from more than $60 million in outside spending, including substantial backing from groups linked to AIPAC, Chevron, and Philip Morris. El-Sayed's victory has become more than a local political upset. Supporters see it as a revolt against corporate influence and special interest money that many voters believe dominates American politics. On one of the sharpest clashes in the campaign was over Israel and U.S. funding. While Stevens emphasized traditional Democratic talking points about Israel's security, El-Sayed framed the issue differently. His victory has also exposed a growing civil war inside the Democratic Party. Centrist groups, Third Way, has already raised millions of dollars to push back against Democratic Socialist candidates, warning that a progressive presidential nominee in 2028 could be crushed by Republicans.
Now, critics argue that Democrats are repeating a familiar mistake, that is, fearing progressive candidates more than they fear losing to Donald Trump. In fact, Trump himself has already attacked politicians like El-Sayed as dangerous radicals who would bring what he calls death, squalor, and poverty. Now, the challenge for El-Sayed is whether he can expand beyond the progressive base and build a coalition that is capable of winning statewide in November this year. That effort may have received an important boost from Barack Obama now. Just days after the primary, the former president called El-Sayed for what the Michigan nominee described as a really warm conversation. Listen in.
But they understand that the only way that they think they can win is to drag us into the mud, to believe the worst about each other, to believe that what divides us is bigger than what unites us.
Obama has not yet committed to campaigning for El-Sayed, but the call is being seen as an important signal that party leaders are trying to prevent a damaging internal split. Remember, for the Democrats, the Michigan race has become a test case. Can a new generation of outsider progressives build the broad coalition that is needed to win battleground states? Or will the party continue battling its own left wing while Republicans exploit the divisions?
Well, I think the debate is very wide because there is now centrist and socialist Democrats. And I don't think the world knew that.
I think even the Democrats didn't know that, Eric. And, with the midterms approaching, they really have to figure out which way they're going, and they have to put up a united front.
All right, let's listen in to our correspondent, Susan Teherani. She's reporting from New York.
The battle in Michigan is now exposing a much deeper divide inside the Democratic Party. Abdul El-Sayed narrowly defeated establishment-backed Congresswoman Haley Stevens, running as an unapologetic progressive and a vocal critic of Israel's conduct in Gaza, despite millions of dollars in outside spending aimed at defeating him. His victory energized the party's progressive wing, but it also left some moderate and pro-Israel Democrats uneasy about whether he can win statewide in November. And that matters because Michigan is one of the country's most important battlegrounds. With control of the Senate potentially at stake, Democrats now have to answer a bigger question. Can they unite behind El-Sayed quickly enough to defeat Republican Mike Rogers? Susan Teherani reporting from New York for WION World as Well.